Alright guys, haven't made a video in a few days. It's been about a week. I've been really tired, really busy, and I'm finally getting around to doing something that I wanted to do earlier but wasn't sure. You know, I had just started making videos, but I wanted to review my Horizon D carbon fiber Reate by Dave Dang. You guys saw a good bit of this knife in a video. I talked about it a lot in a video. Basically, it was a rant about counterfeit knives. And I'm actually going to talk about another knife on this too. I'm going to talk about it's for talking about value for price. So this knife is truly amazing. And the other video was talking about Apostle P had said, you know, don't support buying Chinese knives and things like that. And I had talked about Kaiser knives, and I had talked about Dave's Reate knives. By far, on the production realm, David's knives are in the top tier for production knives. I'm not talking about custom knives. I'm not talking about, you know, I call John Grimsmo's knives out as the gold standard for folding knives, and even my NTAC, my Fire and Forge NTAC. There's a difference between smooth. I have my Microtech DOC that, if you're not careful, will just fall shut on your finger. Well, this knife is smooth to open. It doesn't have that just want to drop, and a lot of it's blade weight and things like that. This knife is a different kind of smooth entirely. John Grimsmo's knives are a different kind of smooth. You have a knife that's incredibly smooth but just has a different feel. This knife is carbon fiber on the presentation scale, all blued. It's not going to come out real, and I've carried it. You can see where I've carried it, and I've worn some of the blue anodizing off. Dave's proprietary anodizing that he does on the hardware and fittings, and it's on the pocket clip as well. It's the Timascus. It looks like Timascus. I'm not sure how he does it. I'm pretty sure that there's some manner of coating or sticker or something he used to. And then the titanium side here, it has a removable lock bar insert, and it has possibly one of the smoothest actions of a flipper, because it rides on a multi-row bearing system. The first knife I ever bought that had a multi-row bearing system. I had other knives that had bearing systems. I had knives with the at a loss now. Tired. It's a long week. IKBS, the uncaptured an uncaptured IKBS system, ladies and gentlemen, will, first time you've ever taken one of those apart, will frighten you. They go everywhere. I didn't know. I had just gotten into sharpening knives for customers and had that knife come in, and the guy asked, he said, I've heard other knife sharpeners, other customer, you know, providing that customer service where they'll take the knife apart and clean the pivot and make sure there's no grit and grime. And I took that knife apart, and I did not realize that I knew it was a bearing system, but, you know, I'm thinking a bearing race, thrust bearings, they're captured. Nope. It's like 30 little bearings rolling around, and they're tiny ones. And the flip side of it was they were ceramic. They were the IKBS ceramic bearings, and they weren't captured, and they were everywhere, and I couldn't even use a magnet. I managed to find them all, but, you know, don't, unless you have a bowl. But this is a captured bearing system. So multi-row bearing system. It's so, there's not even a sound with it. It's like glass, like wet glass. You can't even hear it. I can't hear it. There's nothing there. It has a ceramic detent. You can see it right there. The actual insert is hidden. You can't really see it. And all of Dave's knives, when you get them, come with I wish I'd grabbed it. It's a little bag of hardware. There's some screws, and there is an additional lock bar insert in case your lock bar insert is worn. Now I've had this knife for about a year. I got it shortly after they came out. I got it on knifecenter.com. Jim Skeleton did a video on the Horizon C, I believe, and it piqued my interest, and then I saw that they had these, and carbon fiber is gorgeous. It's beautiful, and this doesn't do it justice. It's I told you I sold a Shirogorov that had carbon fiber. This wound up being, for me, a better fit. It's not that the Shirogorov was not a good knife. It's just that I didn't have a fit for it. It just wasn't for me. So the milled pocket clip, it is gorgeous. I've gotten back to where I like the bent spring clip, because if you look, that while it's nice and it doesn't catch up, it doesn't provide the spring tension I can get from this. This won't grab, it won't pull, but it's tight, and it'll hold on the pocket better. The lockup is amazing. You can hear it. And there's no play, never has been from day one. Take this knife apart, put it back together. Never once have I had an issue with the centering or any blade issues. You don't have to be, the bearings aren't real specific about which way they want to go. You can just take it apart, clean it up, put it back together. Knife steel, M390 steel. If you watch my videos, you know that I'm kind of torn with the M390. While I've said I like the L Max and I like the N690 that Ferrum Forged used, and I like some of the, I like AUSA 8. They're easy to resharpen. They take a very, very good edge. They hold an edge, for a while. It's a work knife. It's a work steel. This is a work knife. It's not going to hold that edge forever. I don't want it to. But an M390 will hold an edge forever. Once I got this knife sharp, I have not had to resharpen this, and it did get used. You saw there was a video of me shaving with this knife, and hair and paper, two of the hardest things on an edge. They're horrible on an edge, and this is hair popping sharp, tree topping sharp. The secret that I think I've figured out with M390 is when you're sharpening a knife in M390, double whatever time that you would normally expect to take on each stone. So if you're on a coarser stone, just double how long you think it takes, because you're not wearing that knife out. I'm guaranteeing you, because it takes that long. That steel is so incredibly hard. It takes that long to sharpen it. So Bowler M390 steel, I have managed to get a very polished edge on this, and it is hair popping, tree topping sharp. Obviously, by the video I shaved with it, and it holds that edge. It holds up against the abrasives, cardboard, natural fiber rope. Those things that I've cut with this it's held up incredibly well against them. So overall, when you're looking at, here we go again. Apostle P said, I can't believe that people are buying these, and there's other people out there, they're saying, I can't believe that people are spending $400 on a Chinese knife. I have news for you. It's worth it all day, twice on Sunday. It is an amazing knife, and like I said in my video, giving someone the props when they've got it right. Dave Deng and his shop have got it right. And on a production level, you're looking at one of the higher tier prices, $400, one of the higher tier prices for a strict production knife. You're not looking at mid-tech. This is a strict production style knife. And when you're looking at the fact that you get the bells and whistles that you would normally get, that would be reserved for a full, a full-on custom, you're getting not necessarily handmade specialty hardware, but you're getting an incredibly beautiful knife. Well milled. This is all milled carbon fiber, milled titanium, 3D milled pocket clip, anodized hardware, and then the multi-row bearing system that you're getting in that. You're not going to be able to beat that. And Dave, a lot like Ferrum Forge and companies like Strider, he offers a warranty on his work. If you send this back, he will replace parts. You can request replacement if you need replacement screws. I asked at one point about replacement screws. They said you could get replacement screws. If you damage your blade, you can get it sent in and they'll fix the blade or replace the blade, like a lot of other companies will. But you're talking about a very high-end knife at the $400 price point that you're not going to get. I mean, you can get some of your baseline knives at $400, but you're not going to get some of the bells and whistles that you get here. And once again, to reiterate, David Deng is a Chinese machinist that is a knife enthusiast who has decided that he was going to take his machine shop and make knives. And he's done a hell of a good job of it. So there's my review, and I don't. There's a lot of guys. I'm not like nothing fancy. I'm not gonna tell you the full specs of the knife. I'm not gonna tell you it's 3.75. I'm not gonna do that. I'm going to tell you from my perspective, from using and carrying a knife, what it's like, and it's awesome. It's an awesome work knife. These days, my DOC doesn't get a lot of pocket time because I got this. These two are kind of fighting for pocket time. This is something that, if I'm going to go somewhere where I want to have something that's, well, this one could go too. They're both pretty elegant little folders. So that's my Horizon D, video on that. And then we're going to talk about something that's the exact opposite end of the spectrum. Not in regards to quality. This is my Mora Companion. I got it because I needed something that was kind of a workhorse knife that really wasn't all that expensive, something I didn't care if I busted up. And so I got one. They're like 12 bucks. And what I wound up with is possibly one of the nicest little, I don't know what you would call it, bushcraft knives and it is crazy company. I've done all kinds of stuff with this. It's got that Scandi grind that, when done right, is amazing. And this is, and I've resharpened it. It's got oil on it because it is a very high carbon steel that you get a fingerprint on that, and it's going to be there forever until you get it polished out. I've used it to cut pork roasts, and I've used it to cut all kinds of stuff, and this is one of those knives that you're frightening. It's frighteningly sharp. This is one of the few knives that I own that I'm actually wary of even touching, because it'll cut you before you even know it. You'll be bleeding. So, to my point the other day that I said that you don't have to break the bank to have a nice knife, these are amazing little knives. And the nice thing about them is you can use them, you can beat on them, you can use them for bushcraft, you can use them for as a workhorse, and you're not going to worry about, oh, I broke my knife and I'm going to have to send it in for warranty service. They're 12 bucks. You could buy 2 or 3 of them and just have one in standby. I love the ergonomics of that handle. It's amazing. They've got a couple that come with fire steels, and so just to throw that out there, these are nice little bushcraft knives that just are amazing quality, and it came really crazy sharp from the factory with that Scandi grind. So just throwing that out there. Just wanted to give a kind of a shout out to my daughter's over here coloring them, banging into my camera and moving it and stuff. So just to kind of throw that out there in case anybody's looking for a really good bushcraft knife. And it's not big. You're not going to do a lot of batoning with this, but it's sturdy and it's thick, and that rubberized hander gives you a good grip even when it's wet. I use it for when we buy bulk pork roasts and things like that. I'll cut boneless chops and roasts off of it with this, because it's where it seems to really show its cutting potential, is when you're cutting into, you can just right down through because of that Scandi grind laying that wide groove into it, kind of like almost like a convex. So, all right, just get off here once again. Like I said, don't be afraid of Kaiser knives or Reate knives coming out of China. They are no joke, amazing knives, great quality. So it's Saturday. I hadn't made, like I said, hadn't made a video in a few days, and I kind of was getting antsy. It's something I do to kind of relax. It's something I enjoy doing. So thought I'd throw one out there. All right, you guys have a good weekend. Later.